Good morning and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. When I was growing up, the youth group in my church was called Luther League. Nowadays, different synods have different names for their youth organizations, but back in the day, we called it Luther League. One of the things I remember from those long ago days is that when any of our youth gatherings ended, we engaged in a tradition of saying a Bible verse together. We used to conclude the meeting with, "The Lord watch between me and you while we are apart one from another." I think what we thought it meant was asking God to watch over us until we come together again. However, now that I'm an adult, I see all sorts of other nuances to that passage. First, it's found in Genesis 31 and is spoken by Laban, who had become Jacob's father-in-law, as Jacob prepares to take his wives and head back to Canaan. Suffice it to say that their relationship had been rocky. Laban had tricked Jacob in several ways, pawning off one daughter on him when Jacob wanted the other, working a deal that made Jacob work for him for 14 years to get the girls, and then doing everything he could to get the best of the flocks and herds and leave Jacob with the dregs. Reading the whole story, you learn that God was with Jacob, and in spite of Laban's efforts to get the best for himself, Jacob consistently comes out on top. Eventually, it's time for Jacob to head back to Canaan, and he has his wives and his belongings packed up and the herds going with him, and it's time for the final goodbye with Laban. That's when Laban says those words, "The Lord watch between you and me while we are apart one from the other." His words are a bit more than a nice bit of wishing that God watch over Jacob and his family. There's an aspect there, too, of an attempt to establish an agreement on peace between them as well. "The Lord watch between you and me" has the force of, let God stand as witness between us now. I have done you wrong, but we have reached an accord. If you change your mind and decide later to come after me for how I cheated you, God is my witness that we are leaving each other in peace, and I haven't done anything more to incite you to come against me. This is Laban's way of saying, let bygones be bygones, and to move forward in peace between them. This week we are exploring and learning about some of those Old Testament sacrifices mentioned in the Bible. There were actually many different kinds of sacrifices offered for many different reasons, but this week we are focusing on the main types that required animal sacrifice. Our specific topic for today is what is known as the peace offering. Yesterday we looked at the burnt offering, in which the whole animal was offered to God and burned on the altar. The peace offering was a bit different in that only a part of the animal was burned on the altar as a gift to God. The rest of the animal was taken to be eaten by the priest and by the person who was offering the sacrifice and his family. In that way, everyone was taking part in this ritual act, and the connection between the sacrifice and the person making the sacrifice was made clear. It is not an insignificant part that the priest was also accounted for and provided with food. The peace offering was given as a way to thank and praise God, to fulfill some promise made by the person making the sacrifice, or to establish a covenant among two or more people and God. That last kind of like what Laban was seeking to do with Jacob. There will be peace between us, and God is our witness. If a person had a great blessing in life and wanted to thank God for that blessing, or perhaps they were just overcome in joy in their faith, they could offer a peace offering. Or more, if someone had made a vow, a peace offering could celebrate the completion of that vow. An example that comes to mind quickly is Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind saying, "As God is my witness, I'll never be hungry again." That was her vow. And when her vow is fulfilled, she should have given thanks to God. But I don't remember that part from the movie. The thing is, a peace offering means that you are taking God seriously. You are aware of the activity of God in your life and aware that it wasn't just your own efforts that have brought you to where you are in life, and you are responding in thanksgiving and praise to God. The peace offering was a celebration of God's blessings to you and an establishment of peace and goodwill between you, God, and the world. As we live together, may God watch between us, among us, and for us, in love and grace. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.